Hello.
I never noticed the eye transition.
Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
It is Wednesday.
How you doing? Good? Great? Fine? Welcome to
I've got
DMDRB,
200.
your
I've got 200
one-stop
milligrams
shop
of
for
caffeine.
tabletop. What are you drinking, Ashley? You bringing up for the class?
Orange Celsius
Oh, well,
and
these are
mason jar mason jar sweet tea.
okay. We can appreciate this sweet tea on theme. Speaking of theme, welcome to Old Gods of Appalachia. Candlebook and Bell.
I brought monsters. That's on theme.
My monster is long gone.
Hey,
I'm your DM Duchess, JenOfThieves, and this is our cast. We've got Ashley playing Glenn, Mitch playing Rivet.
top of the morning to you.
Oh, good. You gotta practice. Get back in there. Chef playing Kleber, and the Lou Shock playing Ruth. If this is your first time joining us, hi, welcome. This is episode 3. You might want to stop and back up and check previous episodes, but it's not 100% necessary. You could jump in now. We have previous episodes up on YouTube, where we also have tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of other games. Some run by me,
More than a month.
some run by Chef, a lot run by our DM Daddy, who is running games on Sunday again. Yay. Having fun. Making zombies. And on Fridays, we've got Vampire the Masquerade, run by DM Delicious, who is who? Who is Chef.
Hmm.
If you want to hang out with us, we've got a Discord. Hop on in. Join us. We've got not one, not two, not, well, three. Three votes coming up for the next cluster of games. DM Dizzle will be returning with a vote currently between Star Wars and Humblewood. Yeah.
I'm so deliciously torn.
I've got a
I
vote
am
coming up
too.
between Highlander and Ghostbusters.
Also torn.
And
We don't need more piss bottle.
DM Daddy.
You, you don't.
DM Daddy has a werewolf versus werewolf brawl coming up very, very soon. So if you want to weigh in on which version of werewolf we play, you probably hurry up. Because by the time this airs, the vote will probably already be up.
Dude.
Right? If you're watching on Twitch, it's not up yet, but it will be soon. And if we have Patreon, if you have extra money burning a hole in your pocket and you want to exchange that money for perks of different levels, then join us over there. Hey guys, what happened last game?
Well, I can tell you what didn't happen last game.
What didn't happen last game then?
We didn't get to kill all 3 of the fucking shucks because of someone taking the last one and me missing 2 shots. But mostly someone taking the last one and running away with it.
Follow their heart. Hey, about that, Reviv, what happened?
We went to investigate a farm where these pumpkins had been eaten, all kinds of produce had been stolen, there's a pig trampling through. And we decided to have a stakeout overnight after talking to the 2 owners of both the farm that grew all the produce and the farm that raised the pigs. We found out that there were some weird goblin-like creatures that were responsible.
Kleber. Add some stuff.
Well, to go back earlier, Miss Katie had a dream about about all of her cupboards being bare and like an ash storm outside. And then, right as we were going about to figure that out, we heard a whole ruckus from down in the middle of town and decided to be nosy neighbors and got ourselves nice and deeply involved.
And last, Ruth. What happened?
Well, Ruth really wants to go back to that wonderful pie and that really comfy blanket that made her sleep a lot, and ignore the fact that Reviv now has a child that is a shuck and everything, a nasty, disgusting corn gremlin, basically. But We were, for the most part, successful in stopping the shucks from destroying the gardens and letting the pigs out. Mostly, it was I don't know, chaotic. Would you say, guys? Would you say that it was a bit chaotic?
Our intention.
But yeah, we had good intentions. Yes,
Also, we need to name the shuck Niblet.
we are not naming the shuck.
We're
Speaking
not
of the
naming
shuck,
fucking Niblet.
speaking of the shuck, Reviv, how are you containing that shuck?
I've made a harness and leash for it. Just hold on to the leash so it can't go too far from me. I've been cooking food for it. If I make myself food, I make some for the shuck too.
What do you
It's chewed
feed
through
it?
like 6 leashes by now. We're like a week and a half later. Every time you put one on, he'll just turn your back for half a second, he'll gnaw right through it.
Come on, you know how hard these are to make, little one?
Speaking of, you turn around, and once again, you've got a torn off empty leash.
Close.
Get back to work. You want a sandwich? Where'd you go?
Roll me perception.
Helps if I have my character sheet up.
What is everyone else doing? Just on an average day. Early afternoon.
An average day.
Oh, wow.
You have
Oh,
no
God.
idea where he went, Revo.
Oh God.
No blessed clue.
I probably see him like as I'm walking around outside of town, just see him like speeding by.
You just see something zoom past.
He is dressed
Man.
up. I put a burlap sack on him. I made him clothes.
On a normal day.
Normal. Afternoon day.
You see Reviv walking around with a plate, calling out, "Shucky, where'd you go? Come on, I got food." I'm also holding what was it called? The chimes. Shaking them.
You have noticed as the week has gone by that the chimes have kind of lost their shine. They're still pretty, but they don't seem to glow all by themselves like they did before.
I'm gonna use foxfire on them to make them light up and glow.
Okay.
Do I see Kleber as I'm going through town looking for Shucky?
Ruth, you hear Reviv start calling out Shucky's name again.
Ruth just has that deep urge to commit a murder rising up in her. But she will, ever since probably the shuck has been there, she's probably been avoiding it. And so either she's in town, or if she hasn't told Kate about the wonderful new pet Reviv has, she's probably at Kate's house, airing her grievances.
Reviv has told Kate about the shuck. He's been asking her for ointments and stuff to try and help with the shuck's rash.
Is it bad that when you yell Shucky, all I can hear is the opening from Lassie? Shucky, come home.
So
No, because I'm so glad I'm not the only one who thought that.
So, Glenn, you see Reviv wandering past. Kleber, you are out in the woods somewhere. You, off in the distance, hear the familiar voice of Reviv. Ruth, what are you saying to Kate?
Depends on how frazzled she is. She would ask if there's any way of getting rid of the creature. She is worried about her own things. Her basically, it was bad enough with Reviv and the 5-finger discounts they tended to have early on. But now there's a second one who you can't communicate with, and it will just take things. And if you try to grab it, the damn thing sheds its skin and leaves a mess there. So Ruth is basically, I want to get rid of this thing.
Well,
And
you
if I
could
cannot
kill
get rid of this thing,
You can kill like you
yes,
kill anything else.
yes, and I believe Glenn tried that and failed. Uh,
It
but
didn't die?
well, the crossbow bolt went into, I believe it was Cleaver's thigh.
Oh, well, that wouldn't kill it. No, you're right.
Yeah, no, no. And also, I know that killing would be a last resort. If push comes to shove, I could essentially tell Reviv that their debt is paid in full, and feel free to leave my homestead, taking that thing with you.
Well, if that's what you'd rather do. But something tells me y'all can be here for a little bit.
What have you seen or dreamt?
It's just a feeling I got. Like a
Good
feeling we
feeling,
should
bad
maybe head
feeling?
home.
All right. She'll gather things up and head on home.
If you need me to take care of the shuck,
I will let you know about that.
all right. Ruth, as you head home, and Glenn, you are outdoors somewhere in the town as well. Reviv, where are you heading to try to find the shuck? Just for record keeping purposes. Are you heading deeper into town? Are you heading into the woods? Where are you heading?
Where do you think it would usually run off to when it runs off? Probably back to that farm,
Barns?
right? I guess we're going back to the farm. Oh, what was the lady's name? Trying to remember her name.
Masters?
Miss Masters.
Mhm.
Miss Masters. Yeah, I'm going back to
Martha
her
Masters.
place.
Okay. And Cleaver, how deep in the woods are you?
I would probably be. I mean, if it's in like early afternoon, I'd probably be coming back to try to grab lunch or something. So not too far. Maybe at this point, maybe a quarter mile out.
Okay. As both of you kind of converge in different corners of the town, you hear the sound of a panicked voice yelling out. Not anywhere in particular, just out, up into the sky, out into the world. Screaming, Addie! Maddie! Addie! Maddie, it's time to come home! An older man's voice, kind of gruff, like he's already mad. And as these names keep getting shouted out, every now and then you see the nosy face poke out the window or a door open to ask, what's going on? Ruth, you know that Addie and Maddie are probably Addison and Madison Swift.
Mhm.
They're kids that your son actually plays with now and again. Part of a group that also includes a kid named Lenny. You see him playing out in the woods all the time, in the fields, in the streets. So if Addie and Maddie are missing,
Thomas is likely with them as well.
maybe.
I will expedite my way on home
Okay.
just to double check, see where he is.
After a few minutes of what is probably the twins' father shouting out for them, you hear another two figures join in, starting to yell for Lenny. So it's probably a good idea for you to go home, Ruth.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, almost running, probably.
Okay. What are the rest of you guys doing?
Um,
Still looking for Shucky. I can't leave him out. What time of day is it?
Afternoon.
Really up.
Afternoon.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's still daylight. I can still find them. I'm going to Martha's house and knocking on her door and asking if she's seen them.
Okay. She pulls the door open, glaring at you. What do you want?
Oh, well, Lady Martha, I was wondering if you'd seen Shucky around, that Shuck.
The what?
The thing that was in your farm? You remember we caught the other two and they died?
Y'all said you took care of the problem.
Well, we did.
But
I can't leave him out. This thing's
trust a man to do
gonna get him
nothing.
if he's out of
Door slams in your face.
Oh dear. Well, I guess I gotta go find him on my own. There's no signs of him at the farm.
No,
right?
you're not going to find him. That was a 1, my friend.
But Raviv wouldn't give up.
Okay.
Raviv's gonna keep looking. So just
But
running
then-
through town, yelling out Shucky.
We got someone, a pair of parents shouting for Lenny. We got a father shouting for Addie and Maddie. And now we got Raviv shouting for Shucky. Cool.
I'm assuming I could hear this.
Oh, you can hear it.
Would I be familiar with any of the kids involved? I mean, I probably wouldn't know them by name, I don't think.
It's a fairly small town. It's not like teeny tiny. It's not quite like as small as Mitchellville was, where it was like a handful of families. But the kids play outside all the time. You probably run into them at like the general store or the little restaurant in town or like just anywhere. They're pretty free range for children. You
I
would
hear-
probably recognize the faces or the names. You might not be able to put the two together.
Okay. Yeah, I would start looking around as I'm walking to see if I see any like obvious tracks, because as much as I love children, they're not exactly known for their subtlety when running through the woods.
Okay.
Is that a perception or a tracking?
What would be tracking? Where are you looking exactly, though? Just
Just
like
in
where
the
you
way-
come out
in
of
the-
the woods?
In the direction I'm walking to see if like there's anything just nearby
Okay.
by random chance.
Okay.
Come on. You can do it.
Okay. You happen upon like some footsteps and some animal tracks, but the human footsteps are probably too large to have been children as you make your way back into town.
Okay. Walk back into town, keeping an eye open, I guess, but I already know what I found.
Glenn, what are you doing? Just hanging out?
At all the shouting and commotion for parents shouting for children,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna head back to my little house and I'd like to. It says I'm able to summon like elementals as well with Question the Spirit.
Okay.
I'd like to try to summon a wind spirit or a wind elemental because things go missing. My logic here is the wind is very good at knowing everything and being everywhere. You know, the whole saying whispers on the wind.
How very guru of you. Okay.
Look, we were talking about werewolf before this, so
You're not wrong. All right. Is that I'm guessing that's just a thing you can do. It just costs
it's an action.
you intellect, but probably 1 intellect because I'm guessing you have your edge in intellect. Okay.
No, it cost me, yeah.
Okay.
It cost me 2
get back to you for a second. Ruth, you bust
Yeah.
into your house. Where do you go first? Just immediately for his room, or
Go for his room, check there. If he's not in his room, I look to see if any of his things are gone that he'd usually take to play with his friends, either like fishing poles or any of his toys or anything, so I could at least get an idea.
you throw open the door and for a second you don't see him. Your heart drops because you think wherever these other kids have vanished off to, he must be there. But after a moment, you see some motion under the blanket that Kate gave you. He had a couple of days ago set it up like a tent, just propped up by some chairs. And he's almost happier under there than anything else. You've noticed he hasn't really wanted to go out and play with his friends. He's just wanting to hang out and read under the blanket tent, and you've let him because it's the quietest he's ever been.
Yep.
And as you see his little shock of brown hair pop out from the opening to his quilt tent, you are suddenly flooded with a wash of relief. What's wrong, Mom?
Very, very much so. I just needed to check on you and make sure you're here. Addison and Madison's father is looking for him, and Lenny's parents are also concerned. So I wanted to see if you were here, or if you wouldn't happen to know where they are, would you?
Well, who all's gone?
Addison, Madison, Addie and Maddie, and Lenny. Your parents are looking for them.
They ain't by the well?
Well, I don't know where all your little hangouts are.
Oh, well, sometimes we go to the well and throw things down there. Don't tell anybody about that. And sometimes we go to the creek, and sometimes we go to the woods, like just past the church. You know them woods back there?
Mm-hmm.
We really like the woods back there. There's all kind of stuff down to find and play with. That's probably where they went. We went like 4 days last week.
Well, you know what? Once we find your friends, I know a gentleman who I think would love to take you out into the woods.
Yeah? He got treasures out there?
He might be able to help you find some treasures, yeah.
Because we find treasures
His
all
name
the
is
time over
Cleaver.
there behind the church.
Oh, really? What sort of treasures?
All kinds of shiny things. Like little trinkets and little pieces of metal. And like sometimes stones.
Like little arrowheads?
Well, no. He like gets up from where he is. It seems like kind of hard. Like he doesn't really want to leave his little hut, but his excitement carries him out of there. And he goes to this little box that he usually keeps his toys in, opens it up, and pulls out just a chunk of what is some kind of rough cut blue stone. It's one of the bluest colors you've ever seen in your life. Like he has somehow uncovered just a hunk of sapphire. Holds it out
That is
proudly.
absolutely. That is gorgeous, and that is definitely a treasure.
Yeah, all kinds of treasures. Sometimes the lady shows us where they are. Sometimes we find them ourselves.
Yeah. Which lady?
Well, it was a lady in the woods.
Do I know a lady in the woods?
You have no idea what he's talking about.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, around this town, there's all kinds of people that like live farther away in the mountains, maybe wander down into town for supplies, that kind of thing. It could be anyone, but
Okay.
there's not a lady around town that's specifically known as like the lady in the woods.
Okay. Well, I will tussle Thomas's hair and make sure you take good care of that rock, because that is the best treasure I've ever seen.
Yeah, sure is, Mom.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I will go to the well and to all the various places, and hopefully that's where your friends are.
Okay.
And don't
Well,
and don't worry, I won't tell anyone you're throwing things in the well.
well, if thanks, Mama. If they're not out there, then you can ask the lady in the woods where they went, because she probably
Mhm.
knows.
All
You
right.
just
I'll make sure to ask her.
you just gotta go past the creek because you can't come past the creek.
Thank you for letting me know that.
Yeah. Tell her I said hi.
I will.
Okay.
Okay. And I will leave to go inspect firstly the well and then the various other places, hopefully.
Thomas like immediately scurries right back under the quilt. His little happy den goes right back to his reading. You swing by the well. There's a parent or two out there kind of like trying to lower lanterns down in there just to check that the kids didn't somehow fall. They don't seem to be down there, and they're not milling around there either.
Hmm.
The creek that runs through town, they're not there either. You kind of wander along it for maybe half a mile or so. You don't find them there either. But again, there's a smattering of parents who are also searching because body of water, that could be bad.
Yeah. Have
You
I
see Raviv again
run?
wandering around, yelling Shucky and
Have you
Cleaver.
seen any human children?
You're muted. And Cleaver emerges from the woods, following a rabbit trail.
Have I seen any human children
You've seen lots of human children?
today?
Not the one they're probably yelling for, but
Oh, there's plenty of kids in town. Why are you asking?
Because three are currently missing.
Oh,
Who's
no.
missing now?
I have heard them yelling some names.
Um,
If I don't remember everyone's
Addison,
names, I didn't
yeah,
think they were children.
Addison, Madison, and Lenny. They're friends of Thomas, my son. Uh, Thomas is safe. He's in his room. Uh, but he mentioned the usual places they love to play, the well, the creek, um, I think what behind the church as well. And he mentioned a lady of the woods that couldn't go past the creek.
Is that familiar to Reviv at all?
mm-mm.
That there aren't any creeks around here that are big enough to stop an adult from getting across if they really wanted to. Most of them run fairly quick but fairly shallow, maybe no more than 2 feet. A lady in the woods.
Hmm.
Jen, would I have any knowledge of any other like anybody out in the wilderness? I mean, I'm pretty sure I would recognize a woman out there, especially at this, in the early 1800s. That would probably be much more remarkable than it would be today.
You know of like an old widow that lives like on the mountain, like a couple miles outside of town. You see her sometimes like trapping and hunting. Maybe that's what they're talking about. Give me
Yeah.
give me just a D20 roll. That's what you got.
I mean, it might be. I know there is one lady who lives outside of town. She's kind of a old widow, normally tries to keep to herself. She's fairly self-sufficient. Jen, would I know what direction that is from where I'm standing? Like
That would be
vaguely,
west.
like okay. What direction's the church from where we're standing?
It's north of town.
Well, they said they go behind the church and talk to a lady in the woods. Thing is, she lives points west, a couple miles that way, and the church is that way. I can't think of a reason for a widow to be walking around just in the woods outside of town and not interacting with anybody. It's an awfully long way to come just to stand out in the woods.
And if she's as self-sufficient as you say, do you think a creek would stop her?
Not in the slightest.
Glenn, we'll pan back out over to you. What does it look like when you summon a wind spirit?
So, because Glenn is at his house doing this, he's got like this little proper like little summoning circle type deal. For the wind for a, a wind elemental to be exact, it would be he would have like white, the best representation of just like wind as a drawing, like just a blowing breeze in the center of it,
Okay.
with wind chimes of various like whether they're wood or glass or metal, a couple of flowers set up around it.
Okay.
Oddly enough, no candles.
It's the wrong element. That makes sense.
Yeah. Not trying to summon fire. I don't need candles for this. Um, and I've actually been trying to pick names. I've been. I know the lighting has been flashing on my face. I've just been trying to look up different names for like wind spirits and wind gods.
Okay.
Um,
Vesper, Isis.
well, the one I've kind of settled on is Zephyrus.
Okay.
The Greek
was about
god
to say
of
that.
the west wind, most often associated with springtime,
Okay.
Zep.
because I don't remember what time of year we said it was.
Yeah, we're deep into spring now.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you sit like in the middle of the circle? Do you sit outside of the circle?
I'm gonna sit on the edge of the circle, and because I haven't figured out how to say this whole little chant in with the Irish accent. Wind spirit Zephyrus, I call upon thee, whose wind often carries the warm breeze of spring. Um, Zephyrus, known as the gentlest of the four winds, I call upon thee, asking for your aid.
You are
I
about
just
three.
release, and I
You,
just release like a handful of like flower petals
you get
out
about
towards the middle of
2/3
the
of the
circle.
way through before you start to feel the tickle of a breeze on the back of your neck. That sort of tumbles into a full breeze to an actual wind that like moves just the tips of your hair. And as you finish up your little incantation and release your fistful of petals, the petals just stay suspended in the air, swirling and twirling in kind of a vortex, not violently, but like they're surfing on a current of air.
It's a baby tornado.
You don't see anything, you only see the effects of what's there, but you feel it. You feel it in your skin, you feel it in your bones. You know it worked. You've summoned something.
That's why the petals. Because I was thinking, wind spirit's probably going to be like invisible to the naked eye.
Hmm.
Petals.
These petals twirl and tumble around each other, and you hear just a whisper as it casts past your ears. What do you wish?
I wish to gain a bit of knowledge from you, if possible,
Three
this day.
questions.
From the sounds of town and the shouting going on there, it appears that some children have gone missing. Have you heard any whispers on the wind um, as to where they might have gone to?
The second you say the word shouting, you hear just like the faintest echoes of the names, Lenny, Addie, Maddie, Lenny, Maddie, Lenny, Addie. Just like twirling around your head, clearly recognizing what yelling you're talking about.
So I specified from the town.
I hear small voices all the time. Big and small. I carry them all.
Jude, are you really rhyming right now?
I am.
I can't even be mad about it. It was perfect. Mighty Zephyrus, that does not answer the question that I asked.
2 questions remain all the same.
Have any of your 3 siblings caught rumors of where the children may have gone?
Who are you talking about?
Just the children. Talking about the I don't know the other names.
What,
The
what are
other
they?
3
What are
winds.
is it the other elements?
No,
The
the other 3 winds.
The other
Yeah,
ones?
Zephyrus
Gotcha.
is of the west wind. There's 4 winds.
Notus Boreas, and I can't remember the third.
Gotcha. I can
Hang
conjure
on.
them from my memory fast enough. Um,
Yeah.
you feel just a big gust and the petals drop for a moment. Before your door blows thumping open with like gale force winds. And they've returned. Yes, one has heard voices to the north. Small voices going forth.
About how far in human distance would you say that they have traveled? Because I'm sure spirits of the wind have a different measurement of travel.
You just hear like a chorus of like cackles. Like it's captured laughter from all over town, all over times, all different people. You just hear like a chorus of like clips of laughter. Farther than you know. You better go. And just like that, it's gone.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, it's about as useful about as much use as I was hoping to get. Some more information I had to go on than I did.
That's what happens when you make me bullshit a wind spirit, actually.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Hey, look, I finally got to use the actual ability of my fucking character.
Heck yeah.
But after Zephyrus is gone, like fully this time,
Mm-hmm.
clean up the summoning circle, pack stuff, just like a couple days worth of travel supplies, and set up to the north. Not informing
roll me dodge real quick.
anyone. Dodge.
Think chi.
No, we're gonna let this happen. I'm not spending the XP for that one.
The second you push the door to try to exit, it just falls clean off its hinges. Like the structural integrity of it by itself was compromised by being thrown forward, and it just topples onto you, bonking you clean in the head, doing 2 might damage. As you see stars and touch your head for any signs of blood.
picks up the door, just sets it back in up against the wall.
You
Picks
set
out
it up,
back.
and there's a breeze suddenly that sweeps behind you, and you just watch it fall back over.
I'll fix that when I get back. Grabs the hat off of the hat rack. Just continue and starts heading north.
Okay. Back to the other group.
Why would they? You said they were meeting the kids. Like they saw this woman behind the church.
Thomas said that she was a woman of the woods and that they would often meet with her, and she couldn't cross the creek. He also told me to tell her hello.
First off, it doesn't do very well for youngins to be talking to strangers in any case, especially strange women out here in the woods. How about we go take a look at where they might have been, because that gives me the heebie-jeebies, something awful.
Yes, I would love to know who this woman is if she's, well, knowing our past couple weeks, I'm hoping she's human. I'm hoping she's alive.
We try to find Glenn first before we go out there.
Perception rolls, everyone. Oh, Chi-Chi. How generous. Trying to outdo me on the gifted subs. I see how it is.
Oh, wow. I see how it is. Everything's just against me having Shucky. Wow.
Did you want me to roll that perception check as well, Jen?
No.
Okay.
The perception is for seeing you, so. Oh, hey. All of you happen to see Glenn. Hat on head. Marching toward,
Messenger bag travel pad.
Found him.
Yeah. Sorry,
That was quick.
trying to reach chat.
Clearly a man on a mission.
Well, based upon the hat and how he's walking, something happened to you, didn't it?
Are you calling out to me?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, fucking weird. Summoned a wind spirit, found out what direction the kids are headed, or were. Heading that direction. Are you coming or not? And I keep walking.
Did he say he was talking to the wind?
I do believe that's what he said, yes.
Every time I think this boy's got something strange, he goes and says something that just makes me think maybe it's me, maybe his cornbread's not done in the middle. I don't know.
You talk to your bird.
Yeah, but he can talk back.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to reply to that.
We can just say
Hey,
you guys
does someone
meet
want
kind
a
of
sandwich?
before you get to the church, sort of on the north end of town. You sort of converge to one big clump.
Does anyone want the sandwich from Reviv? They just have a
I will
plate with
happily
a
take
sandwich.
the sandwich.
It's just a ham and cheese sandwich. Nothing special.
Takes the sandwich, looks at it. Not any fucking. I know. Oh. Just mumbling or just complaining about their days or anything on it.
Well, Shucky didn't like mayonnaise and mustard that much. Really only liked the ham. I'd always have to clean up the cheese and bread off the floor.
You're still a fucking idiot for keeping that damn thing.
Why the hell are you feeding it? If it throws it on the floor, why the hell are you feeding it more? It just seems wasteful.
Well, I mean, it should all be there and offered in case he did want to eat it.
After the first 2 or 3 times, I think I would have just, listened. This is going on as we're walking because
Yeah.
I'm not going to get yelled at again for that.
Okay.
Well, I suppose you have a point. They just felt mean if I ate a whole sandwich in front of him and only gave him the meat.
Maybe he only wanted the meat. Sometimes I understand your heart's in the right place, but sometimes I wonder if it ever brings your mind along.
Well, I do care for the thing. I hope it's okay.
You realize that for a lot of animals, the best place they can be is out in the wild where they were. Probably worked long and hard
I
to find that place.
But what
I
if other ones
wholeheartedly
get
agree with
to
that
him?
statement.
Also, there's some scary things out in the woods. I've seen demons, I've seen ghosts.
Yeah, I seen bears and all kinds of mountain lions, everything.
If one of them
Wait,
gets him,
what if he gets one of them?
well, did you see how small he was? I don't think that's gonna happen.
Okay. You guys are heading north. Uh, Ruth, do you kind of take the charge and give him more direction to the north, or are you just following behind Glenn?
Uh, Glenn seems to know more of an idea of where we're going, so I will be like second in line.
Unless someone asks Glenn where he's going, the answer you guys just get is north.
I mean, I thought you said we were going behind the church. Shouldn't you be the one steering this particular column?
Well, wait, okay, did Thomas say the woman was behind the church or she just couldn't go past the creek?
They go behind the church. They play behind the church
Oh,
in the woods
uh-huh.
behind the church.
Okay, okay.
You
Then
haven't gone
I'm
too
there.
deep in there, so you don't know exactly where the creek might be past there. But Thomas did
Okay,
say she could
then
not go past the creek.
okay. Then in that case, I will go to the woods behind the church. Yeah, I will amend that and lead everyone to the woods behind the church.
Okay. Ruth suddenly comes to a stop, like right at the edge. On one side is basically just a path back into the woods, and the other side is a little town cemetery. Everybody knows somebody buried there except maybe Reviv.
Can I do a tracking check to see if I can see any fresh prints?
I was hoping you would.
Well, I just wanted to make sure, I can't just go around tracking stuff, graves and everything. Be rude.
Anybody want to help him?
Can I send my bird up? And
I can
hope the
give some
bird has
help.
better luck.
I'll help you.
Does
I
anybody
have
else have
wilderness navigation.
You have
Does that
wilderness
help?
navigation?
Yeah, does that help at all?
Yeah. Your bird flies up. That's fine. My gosh.
Damn.
God, man.
Whatever, as you were like kind of
Agent.
like inching your way
What?
along the edge of the woods, just leaning down, squinting real hard to see if you can make out some footprints. Ravel wanders up behind you and just, oh, there you go. Just points to a set.
Holding up my crystal ball.
If it was a snake,
Oh,
it would have
look,
bit
right
you.
there.
Well, that's one. There's 3 kids. I was saying if we could find more than just one set of prints.
You see the one, and you suddenly have a place to actually look. And it's like a light bulb clicks in your head. You see, well, there they are. There's tons of little footprints heading off into the woods.
How many kids you said were unaccounted for?
Uh, 3 that I know of.
Do they come
Or if
here
you
often?
include Chucky.
Uh, Yes, Thomas says that they like to find stones. He showed me a rather large, rough blue stone, but pieces of metal, all sorts of. You know how children always pick up things that fascinate them? Could be
I'm
a
wondering
small
if it's
pebble, could be.
like a trash heap out this way.
I don't know. I mean, Jen, would I have known that was a sapphire he had, or just a blue rock?
I'm gonna say because you work with metal, that you probably also have like a passing familiarity with like minerals and stones. So you probably know, maybe not idea as sapphire, but pretty rare and precious. Like you can't just like dig a hole and find it around here.
Right. Uh, with the rock he showed me,
Both of my lights have gone out.
you're
I
haunted.
don't.
You're haunted.
Jen is just suddenly 10 times wider.
I have no remedy for this. We're just gonna have to keep going.
Call the hand of God.
I they're both plugged in, so I don't know
Light.
what the
Are the
fuck.
bulbs out?
Hmm?
Are the bulbs out?
It would
That's
be
what it
weird
looked like
if
to
they
me. It was
both
like
go at the same time.
Yeah. Almost like, some kind of older spiritual entity of the local area or going
We'll just
on
make
or
this a little
something.
warmer. We'll just make this a little warmer so I'm not so white.
Did you properly praise and adore the puppers?
Uh, Clearly not.
Did,
Clearly not.
did you
There's the
say your
problem.
did you say your praise canes this morning?
He knows I value him. Anyway, sorry. I lost track of where we were entirely.
I
Uh,
just found the footprint.
Okay.
yeah.
and you were wondering if the trash heap was around. With the stone that Thomas showed me, I would be shocked if someone actually threw it away. It looked of a decent value.
Okay. And you said there were metals out here? Did he tell you what kind?
He just said it would find pieces of metal, scraps,
Well, if
children.
he's calling precious stones rocks, hell, watch we're gonna be walking over here and find gold bars that he calls pieces of metal. That way. Start walking.
Glenn, are you familiar with any ladies of the woods that can't cross any creeks or rivers?
I don't know, Jen. Am I familiar with any haints that may or may not be haunting the woods that cannot cross rivers or creeks that have just been described to me?
Roll. Roll something. Understanding magic or anything occult or history.
How
If you
about
don't have any of those, then just other. Ugh. Fine. Nothing specific comes to mind, but you do know when it comes to like magical shit. Often water is seen as pure, and if it can't
special?
cross water, that might not be great.
Well, whatever the fuck it is, if it can't cross a running stream, then it's clearly not something fucking good.
For all we know, it's just rabid.
Hey Ruth, did the kids say that they saw this lady during the day or at nighttime?
I didn't specifically ask, but seeing as how I would be rather worried about my child being in the woods at nighttime, I would expect it being during the day.
Plays out a lot of possibilities.
Mhm.
How far do you think these prints go? How far do you think they've been led into the woods?
They go, both of you can see, they go about as far as you can see into the woods.
Leap as
Obviously,
far
the
as the
trees
next
start
arrow.
off a little more sparse toward the edges and get denser as you go in.
I've
I
got a
look
knife. Does anyone else have any other weapons to bring with them out there?
hatchets.
Holds up whip, points at crossbow.
Yep.
Points at Mama Bear.
Points at Hatchet, and I would not say she's carrying her sledgehammer. She's not that mad yet. No.
All you need is a rock and a stick, and I'll make you a sledgehammer. I looked. Does my bird signal that he's seen anything like the children, perhaps?
He does his spiral circle and comes back to you, which is your symbol to know he hasn't found anything unusual.
Hmm. Yeah, I didn't think so. Working on that. I still say my accent's atrocious. Well, the tracks go that way, so oh,
You called me the weird one for talking to the fucking spirits and shit. Yeah, you're out here talking to a
Mhm.
fucking bird. The head on you. Fucking hell.
he's real.
Glenn, do you
See?
talk to the spirits in
Pep.
wind sounds, or do you speak English to the spirits?
I just fucking talked to him. Most spirits, if they're summoned, will speak the language that they're most comfortable speaking. If by chance it happens to be one that is someone that speaks English, then I fucking talk to him in English.
Oh yeah. They've been the air in someone's lungs. They've clearly heard what it sounds like. He doesn't have a voice box the same way I do.
You don't see me out here fucking talking to water spirits with just a.
You kind of muted there in the middle of that.
Oh, sorry. I said you don't just see me out here talking to a fucking water spirit just pouring a glass of fucking water.
I never seen you talk to an air spirit either. So I'm not sure where you're going with this. I'm going that way because that's where the footprints lead. You can
And
go
Ruth is
splash
probably
around in
already
a,
walking.
if you want to go splash around in a creek and try to talk to it, you go right on ahead. I know there's a whole bunch of mountains around here probably love to tell you all about stuff.
Ruth is just walking,
Okay, which direction?
following the footprints.
Okay. Who is following the footprints? Cool.
I guess I'm leading the way since got the nat 20.
Mm-hmm.
I probably have the best idea of where to go and how to follow them.
Yep. I'm gonna let that carry you guys pretty deep into the woods, far past where there would have been a trail at some point. These kids are just clearly forging their own path, but it's a path they know well because you see that the footprints are not just going out, they're coming in, they're going out, they're coming in over the course of days at least. Perception, everybody, please. As the town more than fades from sight and the trees get denser and the light gets dimmer.
Okay, 5. If I was gonna get another crit, I would have known
Using
it
them
was
all
cursed for Shucky.
Mhm.
Um, Kleber, as you are heading probably second, third in line down this little path on the trail, you see something glimmer off to the left. Shines. Unlike anything in the foliage around it, it seems half buried
Hold
in
on.
the dirt in the ground.
Hold on, y'all. I turn and I walk over to it, sort of like brushing brushing any leaves or detritus away from it to try to see what this thing is.
It's a coin, a gold coin, with irregular edges, a bumpy image, maybe someone with curly hair on profile. You've never seen anything like it.
It's not dated or anything.
Mm-mm.
You
You
should
think?
put that
It's
back down. You
it's
shouldn't
not
pick up
U.S.
coins you find in the
You've never
woods.
seen anything like it.
Did they say they were finding money?
Pieces of metal. Again, I didn't ask for specifics, and all he showed me was the rock.
Well, this has got some curly-haired guy on it, and I don't remember the U.S. making gold coins this ugly. So, well, not ugly, but irregular.
Could
I
be a
do believe
leftover
we
from
might.
King George.
I do believe we may have found ourselves a trail, because this coin has no business being on top of the loam layer in the woods with a whole bunch of kids going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and not seeing it.
Well, it could be put there to watch them.
All of a sudden, all of you suddenly feel like you're being watched. Kleber, it's a feeling you know very well. Especially when you're alone in the woods and you feel no longer alone. There's something out here with you.
I sort of like whispered to my bird real quick and tossed him up after having said, "See what's about." Just to partially to get him out of the way in case there's trouble, partially because a quick little all of a sudden a bird flying down and hitting you in the eyes with some claws will change a fight pretty quick.
The loud
So
flutter of large wings ascends above all of your heads, and a single pair of eyes pads out from between some trees. Brown red fur, gold brown eyes. That's a coyote, Kleber.
hand goes to like I've got a hand on like the head of my hatchet about like able to draw, but I haven't done anything yet. I sort of kneel down a little bit lower just to see. Hold on, let me. Do I have that skill?
Which scale?
I was wondering if I had anything that would let me talk to this guy too, because I have Critter Companion and like Wilderness Life
Mm-hmm.
and everything. I was wondering if I could possibly try to communicate with this thing too.
I don't think you have anything yet for that.
No? Okay. I sort of
But you crouch down and its head lowers. Not like it's bowing, but like it's sizing you up.
Can I
I
roll sensing danger?
Mm-hmm.
these things rarely run alone.
Oh, look, another crit.
Yeah, you're in danger.
Yeah,
I without
Everybody, get ready. There's something here. That's not just a coyote, I think.
without looking away from the coyote, these things tend to run in packs. Keep your eyes open. Look behind us and to the sides. Because when these things come after us, they're going to try to hamstring us or hit us from behind.
Are we
Kleber,
deep enough into the forest that it's dark?
it's dark-ish. Like it's afternoon, so there's still some light, but it's definitely not as bright as it was out in the town. Kleber, you hear from above your head, your bird has not returned, which means it found
Mhm.
something. And as you're standing there as still as you can possibly be while you're trying to figure this out, you hear it squawk a total of 5 times.
What does that mean? What does 5 squawks mean?
Means I don't need to be standing here because there's something more important nearby.
Perhaps we
I
should
sort
get
of,
out of here.
I slowly stand up,
I'm gonna
keep it. Hmm?
I'm gonna help you out here. That is not like
Which
an
me?
established symbol of like, come here.
Hmm.
Usually, if it's come here, he'll just perch.
Right.
The squawking is new.
Meaning that I said, look, if there's anything else about. He squawks 5 times. I have 5 other things around us. We're not alone, and neither is this coyote.
Jen, can I go ahead and use hedge magic to, because it doesn't specifically state that I could make sounds in the description for hedge magic, but could I use hedge magic to create the sound of a gunshot to try to scare the coyotes off?
You have a gun, don't you?
No, I have a crossbow.
You have a crossbow.
Yeah. I went with the silent gun. Silent.
I will say you can use it to kind of make like a small explosion like gunpowder would make. So like effectively it's the same noise, but it's not like a phantom
Yeah, I'm
gun.
basically, I just want to create like a loud noise to try to deter the coyotes.
Okay.
Okay. And it's just an action. It just
Mhm.
cost me an intellect point.
All of you hear a loud crack that echoes off of the trees all around you. And the coyote in front of you kind of like jerks, head lowering even further before it turns and skitters off into the trees.
Oh,
Uh,
what was that?
both hatchets out.
It was me keeping us from creating a fucking mess out here in the woods.
Well, you could have given some warning next time.
Why?
Your danger sense is still going off, Reviv.
We really need to get out of here. Like, it's not
Yeah,
safe here. We need to go.
we're in the woods. It's never safe.
No, even
And as you say,
more
it's never
dangerous than
safe.
normal.
From all directions, you hear the snap of twigs, the padding of footsteps. As 5 coyotes, including the one you scared off, emerge, completely encircling you.
Told ya.
They all look a little bit different, so it's not weird that they're exact clones of each other. Anyone with sense magic doesn't sense magic about them, but that's somehow worse, maybe. The one that had been scared off lowers his head again, this time teeth exposing in a snarl.
Glenn, can you do that thing again?
Everyone, back to back. If you have a weapon, draw it. Do not look them directly in the eyes.
Better yet,
And
if Glenn still has that sandwich, throw it a distance away from us, see if they'll go after it.
didn't he
Like
eat
half
that sandwich?
It's like half the
Well,
sandwich left.
Okay.
Throw the sandwich. Which, just for shits and giggles, because I'm curious, Jen, I'm just gonna roll for throwing it just to see.
Okay.
Not very fucking far.
Perfect.
Raviv, what is your sandwich integrity like? I mean, are they aerodynamic slices so this thing flies
Glenn,
apart?
the second your hand comes out with a sandwich, one of those coyotes is bulleting towards you, jaws open, snapping shut, taking not just a chunk of the sandwich, but a chunk of your hand as well. Doing 2 might damage
Okay.
as it messily chomps on ham and cheese and
Takes like
flesh.
takes like a pinky.
Just the tip.
Well then.
At least this coyote, temporarily satisfied, backs up a little bit while it enjoys its snack. But the other four close in even more. Fresh
All
blood
right.
on the wind.
Here's how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna deal with this one that's staring me down. Len, if you can try to put a bolt into one of these things when you're done screaming, it would be nice. Miss Ruth, I'm not sure what weaponry you have on you right now.
Touch it.
Well, you may want to pull that out.
Mhm.
Raviv, do you have anything that's useful in combat?
Just this knife. Oh,
That'll
I
work.
have my crystal ball I could throw too.
If you feel like risking breaking that thing, go ahead.
No, it's just a cheap piece of glass.
Here's what's gonna happen. One of these is gonna come after us, try to distract us, and the other three are gonna try to hit us from the flanks. Specifically, they're probably gonna try to go for most of the tendons in the back of your leg. So, when I say go, everyone is going to take the initiative and charge at these things, making a whole hell of a lot of noise.
As you say
Am I
that,
done?
one of them goes directly for Reviv. I'm going to need you to roll dodge. So it's just your speed.
I'll take another crit.
I'm going to counter your crit with this harm that was preloaded.
Hmm.
So I have disadvantage, I'm guessing.
No, you just take some harm. You dodge out of the way, but you dodge so well that you kind of scooch into the eye line of another one of the coyotes who also sprints in, taking a chunk out of your calf. That'll do 2 bite damage.
Oh man, that one got me pretty good.
But the good news is, that's 2 of them who have already gone. The third one, the one that's been staring at Kleber this whole time, that one's going to charge in as well.
I try to meet it in the face with a hatchet.
Okay. Roll me dodge first. So it's your speed. You know me, we're just the loosest of initiatives. It is what it is. Nice. Dodge achieved because nobody's hurt you on purpose.
Yet.
And now roll for your hatchet.
Okay. What is my hatchet damage again? I don't have that in my weapons yet.
That should be 4.
Thank you.
Yeah. The light weapon, yeah. Should be 4.
So that'll just be damage 4 and no mod.
No, there should be a button to click for to use your
Other
hatchet.
attacks.
Just if you don't have that set up, just roll other skill. You're looking for 9. Whew.
Woo!
Skated past. As you deftly dodge what seemed to be at least a scout of this little group, you scooch backward, knowing exactly where he's going for them ankles. Chompy chomp. You swing your hatchet back and feel it lodge deep into its ribs. It gives like this high, surprised yelp. And you struggle for a second to pull it out, to free it from betwixt the bones. But you have done 4 damage to Coyote C.
I'm surprised there's not one named Wiley.
They only have letters. They do not know the concept of name. Ruth! That last one, the remaining one, scoops up behind you. Well, you guys, if you actually got in the formation, Kleber said too. But again, I didn't let him finish his speech. So roll me dodge.
All right.
Oh, 14. That is enough. You scooch past, coiled and prepared, seeing all of these canids make their attacks.
And And I will, as it's either as I'm dodging it or it's going past me, I will use my hatchet on it.
Okay. Roll please.
Okay.
That is enough.
Okay.
You swing and dodge at the same exact time, bumping a little into Glenn, who's clearly still struggling with the loss of his pinky tip. But you feel the blade of your hatchet sink somewhere into its back. It seems to yelp, and the rear left of it doesn't work as well as it used to. As it thrashes, finally you free your hatchet, so you're free to swing again on your next turn.
Okay.
That was 4 damage on that one. Glenn, what are you doing now?
Shooting the one that bit my pinky.
Okay. Roll, please.
I'll take the +3 damage to make that 7 total.
Nice. It's still chewing on the little bit of finger it nibbed off. There's bone in there. It's going to take a little while to crunch it. And as it smacks its lips, getting the last of your poor digit down its gullet, its skull explodes in shards and it is dead.
Fucking bastard.
Reviv. There's one still on you. I'm going to have you roll dodge and also tell me what you would like to do.
I'm just gonna, I guess, hold my various strips and pieces of silk that I wear up in a defensive way with my knife in the other hand.
Try to like Toreador them? Like a
No, I'm just trying to defend myself. I'm holding the fabric up in front of my face that if they come through, the knife is there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you laid a trap.
He's trying to
In front of your
matador.
I guess. I'm just on my knees because I just had my calf shredded. So it's a might roll, right? No, it's a speed roll.
Bit.
Dodge a speed.
I did warn you.
Yep.
That's enough. That's enough. You feel the breeze as this coyote chomps at your, well, if you're on your knees, it's probably at your neck. You feel the breeze, but it just comes back with a mouthful of fabric. It has to take a second to spit out threads.
And the attack is non-fatal that I go in with the knife when it comes near me.
Oh.
Okay.
I reroll that.
Go ahead and
Would that
roll.
be another might roll?
It's a might, yeah.
Alright.
It's just a D20
I'm not good
though.
at that.
14.
14.
That's enough.
Okay.
Try as you might, the non-lethal doesn't really work in the system. Just so you know, you do manage to stab it. Like somewhere in the scruff area, you feel your knife pierce through skin and come up bloody. Maybe you feel a little bad about it. I don't know.
Well, I hope he's okay. I hope I didn't hurt him too much.
Kleber, give me a
Just
dodge.
bit you.
Give me a what now?
A dodge, and then your action.
Yism. So is my guy or is my guy still like standing
Mm-hmm.
even with like multiple broken ribs and everything?
You don't know how long.
I'm just surprised.
Like NPCs don't have
Oh shit.
like might and speed and intellect. They just have a health pool.
Space wings, man, they're coming after me.
You want to do a +4 damage or what?
I'll do the +4, please.
Makes it.
That was fully dodge, but that's okay. We'll just call it.
Oh.
You dodged
I'm
so
gonna
well.
dodge, just like move the
I'm not gonna
blade.
waste a 20.
Yeah.
You dodged so well. It's like seamless. It's like he's dancing. Like one motion, step aside in swing. And this coyote yelps and clatters to the ground as well. And then Ruth, dodging an action.
All right.
Perfect. Scoop out of
And
danger
then
again.
hatchet attack again.
That's still enough.
Okay.
As you slide out of the way, swinging your hatchet around again, you clip it cleanly in the back of the neck and it drops without even a sound. Seeing this, the two that remain kind of stop. There's two that remain.
You had 5.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Peter.
Mm-hmm. Hey. Ignore the other
Sorry.
stuff on that. Ignore the other stuff on that. I'm sure you couldn't see it.
Okay. Everyone on
Enhance.
YouTube,
Enhance.
back
Enhance.
up, zoom in,
Tell us what's
so you
happening.
can know what we're about to deal with. Leave it in the comments
Seeing all
below.
of their comrades fall so quickly, suddenly the odds are not in their favor. You don't look like a manageable dinner. And the two that remain, including the one who's been stabbed by Raviv, bleeding a whole trail of blood, they skitter off deep into the woods.
In the direction of the footprints or in a different
They
direction?
scatter. One in one direction,
Okay.
one in the other.
After they scatter, I'm gonna look for a stang, like a stick that comes up at a fork like this,
I mean, it's the woods, you'll find one.
and just kind of use it as a crutch on my side that got bit by the coyote.
Okay.
Did that make no sense to anybody else?
Well, they're gone and they're not attacking us anymore. I guess we should keep going and find the kids.
That's my point. There have been children out here often over the past week. Why would a pack of them attack 5 fully grown adults when you could go after 3 weakened, unarmed children? Why are they coming after us when their preferred prey, the easier target, should have been what they
Cleaver.
were after?
Cleaver, we haven't found the children yet.
We're tracing their footprints. We know they came this way, and we haven't seen any footprints going back.
We know they were here. We don't know where they're at.
Are you trying to tell me you think that 5 coyotes would go after children and then still be hungry enough to come after us?
Well, I hope they didn't get the children. But what else would have?
Provided anything did, and they're not just all the way down there exploring a cave. Come
Well,
on,
I hope we find them.
we better scoot. Let's go.
Back to the trail.
Mhm.
Back to the trail.
Nope, I told you they would go away after that.
Okay, I couldn't remember if you had said that they went away after that one.
Yep.
So I was
But you do get a certain number of recovery rolls. I don't remember off the top of my head.
It's like 1. I'm not hurt enough to need it. It's just 1 run if we still had those.
Then you get a +1 because of my restful presence.
Yeah, you can like, oh, a ranger. I didn't know he was under my desk.
Ma'am.
When did that happen? Buddy.
When Dad
Probably when the lights
food.
turned off.
No, can't have been because I was like looking under there trying to figure out why they went off. Hi, buddy.
Well, you were describing coyotes, and he wanted to be part of the action.
I too want a sandwich and thingy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And a finger.
Mm-hmm.
So you follow the trail. The footsteps get thinner as you go on. You're trying to follow the freshest set, the ones that are the clearest, but it seems like at some point over these trips, the kids have explored other areas, wandered off other directions, seen other things. But eventually you come across a creek. Maybe 4 feet across, 2 feet deep. It doesn't run very fast. It's just a little trickle. That's probably the creek Thomas was talking about.
I looked for footprints on the edge of the creek or on the far bank of the creek to see if anybody got in or out, or potentially wet spots where anything like that would have happened.
From the creek itself?
Well, I mean, if they jumped it, you'd see footprints on one side and landing prints on the other.
Oh, I
If
got
they
you.
walked through.
That's not what I thought you were thinking. Okay. Roll tracking.
And you know what time of day would it be while we're in the woods?
It's probably mid-afternoon now.
Oh yeah.
Woo!
Cool. You can see almost immediately across the way where the freshest set of footprints picks up.
Is it just one set of footprints?
It's 3 sets, 3 child-sized sets of footprints. You do see, because you rolled so well, that very, very faintly, almost so faint that you would miss it, there is another set of footprints. Not a direct line with the path that the kids took, but here and there, out to the edge of the creek and then back deeper into the woods. If you had to guess, the freshest set of those was probably 4 days ago. But they're larger, more adult size, if I didn't already say that.
You didn't say that already.
Cool.
Okay.
We're doing great.
That ADHD auditory dissonance, I know, it's great.
So I
Did
got
I
good
say
news.
outside thoughts or inside thoughts?
I got good news and I got bad news. What you want first?
Give me the bad news first.
They're not alone out here. Good news is,
Are you ever alone if there are trees?
me, no. Them, yes.
Yes, Jen. Every game of Old Gods I'm in, I'm going to bring that up.
Well, the thing is, there are three. You can see where 3 sets of footprints jumped across, but a little ways on, well, there are older footprints that are bigger and heavier. I dare say it looks like your Lady of the Wood was here a few days ago.
But if it's older, she's not leading them, but they could still be going to see her.
She hasn't intercepted them here yet.
Yeah.
So far, the two of them are separate until the tracks coincide, but now we do know we have at least one more individual who leaves footprints in play, which again
Maybe-
should narrow down your list of what the hells.
Maybe we should bring some of the water from the creek with us. She can't cross the creek, so maybe it's the water itself.
Running water.
Well,
Has to be
yeah, it is
running.
running water, but maybe it's more than just that. There's
You know, I heard
countless
they have.
creeks in the woods. There's all kinds of running water. Why is this one
I heard-
special?
I heard they have running water inside of buildings now. What a time to be alive.
Well, I guess if you're rich enough, you can have anything inside your home.
You put a wilderness inside my home, we'll talk. But anyway, they went that way. I do not enjoy how dark it's getting, especially considering the fact that I know there's somebody else out here.
Cleaver says they went that way. Glenn just starts wading through the creek.
Okay.
Um,
No
what
question.
part of the
Please.
1800s are we in again?
Early.
1816.
Yeah,
All right.
just after the War of 1812.
I was just checking because the Crystal Palace was 1851.
We're not there yet.
Don't deal with them damn Canadians. They know what they did. South has yet to rise.
All right. You can keep following, everybody.
Yeah.
Eyes open. I send my bird out again. Uh, telling them, telling it that yeah, there are 3 kids, or if you see a lone adult. So
I thought
yeah,
your bird
make some
didn't come
noise.
back yet. I thought it was walking from where it was at.
It would have come back when it was safe. It's fine.
Okay.
Some time passed between there. You guys were walking for a bit. Bird, as you walk. What? Sorry?
The flashlight, the little lantern.
Lantern.
I'm just gonna pull it out, light it.
It does suddenly look a little bit brighter. The forest is getting denser and denser as you go. Your bird returns. It finds you.
I'll keep foxfire on my crystal ball to light up the area too.
Okay. Well, no one will take penalties for not being able to see so good.
Why I asked about time of day earlier.
And I will just keep a general eye out in case, other forms of wildlife decide to try to nibble on our precious bodies.
Okay. Perfect. Everyone give me either a perception or like wilderness or tracking or nature, anything to do with being out in the woods, I will accept.
Okay, so I did just finally reread See the Unseen.
Mhm.
The last line is when looking for things more conventionally hidden, the task is eased.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
I did not. Did you roll? Go ahead and roll.
Now I did.
Cool.
Mm.
You didn't even need the help.
No, I'm the only one with working eyes, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, do me a favor. Count to 5. Count to 10. Yeah, let's talk about working eyes.
Brit,
I got 10. It's just no,
Viv,
9.5.
Ruth,
Count to
Kleber, you
9.5.
guys are more concerned with looking out for wildlife. You don't really see anything or hear anything of any concern. Reviv, because you always roll sense danger so well, you start to get the creeping feeling in the base of your tum-tum that something ahead of you is maybe not so good. But you don't see what it is you're sensing. Glenn, on the other hand, as you're casting your gaze around, you stop looking out into the trees and start looking straight ahead. And through just a veil
The veil.
of tree limbs and leaves and rocks, you see a pattern you wouldn't really expect. It seems as though there's like a clump of vines or ivy or kudzu that is growing over something dark. On the side of a hill.
My foxfire goes out. I look back at Glenn. You should put your lantern out. Hood your lantern. There's something up there. It's not good. We don't want to be seen by it.
Let me phrase that. Staring at this mound of kudzu. I'd like to go ahead and use that. Because it is action. I'd like to just.
Oh, yeah. Whatever. It's not just this curtain of foliage that seems weird to you, it's whatever it is concealing that seems weird to you. And as you focus on it, you can kind of see that maybe it's a crack in the side of this hill. It's not a small hill. It's not a full mountain either, but it's a topographical feature that seems to go into the ground. And even though you can't see what's beyond it, and the opening doesn't seem very, very large, there's something weird all in there.
What'd you find?
Crack in the hill over there. It's hidden behind that kudzu.
I looked to see if any of the footprints have gone up to the crack.
Oh yeah. When Glenn points it out, you can see not just the 3 sets of small footprints, and at this point, it's maybe 2 days worth of small footprints. Only one of them coming back out. And off to the side, you see that older set of larger footprints. Also heading that way.
I don't mean to alarm anyone, but I'm
That's right.
fairly
They don't like
sure,
the grave, don't they?
and our Lady of the Woods appears to be in there as well.
You still have that coin, don't you?
Yeah.
Do I still feel like I'm being watched?
You don't feel like you're being watched, but you do still feel that, like, tingle of danger.
Did I roll danger sense? Is that what you're telling me here?
No, I'm telling you, you feel it.
Oh, okay. Something's not right in that cave. And I think all of this is connected to that coin you have, too.
I'm pretty sure this has got more to do with somebody luring children into a cave miles outside of town.
I don't think you should have picked that coin up. You should have left it where it was.
At this point, is that really the top of our priority list?
Hey, we're gonna borrow that knife of yours.
Like what?
Your knife. Your cutter?
Got a hatchet?
And stab?
Reviv's
fucking
got the
knife.
knife.
Reviv, knife.
Okay, here.
Just grabby handing. With the
That's
open
not
hand.
how we asked.
He said, here, I take the knife. I start walking over to the kudzu.
Okay.
Just so you know, Jen, I am going to try to cut, like, enough of it away for us to get past it.
Okay. Roll.
I'm assuming that's going to be my... Because I don't have a knife thing.
You just roll other skill. Fine.
Okay.
It's all D20s.
Yeah. It's kudzu. It's not the easiest shit to cut, from what I've been told.
It regrows as you're cutting it.
It probably does.
We need to get
Do
some
you
goats out here.
do you just like hack at it like a machete, or do you like grab it and slice?
I wrap my hand in like the sleeve and grab and try to and I start sawing at it with the knife.
Okay. The second you reach out to
Like-
grab it, it grabs you back, wrapping around your
Panically
arm,
starts cutting that
squeezing
shirt.
immediately. The rest of you don't see that. You're behind Glenn. You just see Glenn jump a little and immediately start sawing even faster. Seconds at least.
Fuck, fuck, fuck,
Before
fuck,
the
fuck,
rest
fuck,
of
fuck,
this
fuck, fuck,
veil
fuck, fuck,
of
fuck, fuck,
vines and kudzu and ivy start trembling and then lashing out at Glenn as well.
Once those other ones start lashing out, I'm like, because I set my lantern down because I grabbed. I'm gonna kick the lantern and try to break the glass to cause it to catch on fire.
They are, at least one of you would know, they are very green. They are unlikely to catch a fire immediately. Glenn, roll me dodge.
Okay.
What is everyone else doing?
Charging in, hacking away.
Okay.
13.
As I see Glenn getting wrapped up by these vines, I'm going to help them and pull on them to try and
Yeah.
get them out of the vines.
Okay, Glenn, that is enough to dodge damage this time. Kleber, go ahead and roll me hack and slash.
Hackslash.exe.
Either Reviv or Ruth, roll me just might.
Okay.
Whoever it is, I'll just lower your difficulty. You're looking for a 9. Kleber, as you like try to slash at this, you're used to cutting your way through foliage. You're not used to it moving as you're trying to cut it. It slaps you, it wraps around your hand, it completely dodges all of your slashes. And Ruth, do you grab like the back of Glenn's jacket or just like full body, like snatch?
I'll full body snatch because
Just, like,
he
grab me by the
clearly
pants.
with the panic, yeah.
Glenn, you feel arms just wrap around you and yank you backwards, and the vines that had
Immediately starts flailing at whatever the
wrapped
fuck has
around
me.
you and cocooned you just snap with the sound of just breaking twigs. You are free.
Just that
You're free. You stumble backwards, falling actually half on top of Ruth. Both of you just on your butts.
Ruth
on
catches
forest
an
floor.
elbow.
Oh, this is how you repay me by elbowing me in the side. Thank you.
Just
Going
from the
right
manic.
behind her.
Just, as soon as it's free, my hand just slams backwards. Oh, fucking sorry. Sorry about that, lass. Thank you. I'll stand up and help offer her a hand up.
I will take the hand and I'll get back to my feet.
Viv, what you doing?
You didn't tell me you were just gonna start cutting at that thing. There's something not right about that. I was trying to tell you.
Can you either speak up faster or louder or something before we get
For
tangled up
dodge.
in whatever the hell?
Roll for dodge. Okay.
No, I have to roll for dodge.
Hey, for Viv, roll for dodge too. You're just chatting right there at the entrance.
Just trying to be neighborly. Oh
No.
Oh no! Oh no!
The dice
Oh.
They are hot and cold on you guys. We've
Oh.
wasted all those rolls on sense danger.
No. There's GM intrusion with this.
Is there not?
You get XP for this.
We do.
That is true.
Okay. I mean, if you want it to go through, I won't use my thing.
What's your thing? What do you want to use?
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Well, Cleaver wants it to go through, so I'm just gonna let it go through.
I'm not no. Kleber, honestly, doesn't understand why he was dodging since he's already been grappled.
Alright. Then I'll use throw salt, because I can only use it once a day.
I'm going to throw salt.
You're gonna season them.
Okay.
When something bad happens, you can act upon your beliefs to dispel it. Once after each 10-hour recovery roll, you can refuse a GM intrusion without spending XP. Alternatively, you can spend 1 XP and work with the GM to turn the intrusion into something positive for your character.
Okay.
I'm going to spend 1 XP.
Okay. Kleber, you're gonna take 1 might damage from just getting whipped by thrashing vines. Reviv, you jerk your way back out of the way of all of these furious, angry guardians. Suddenly you get the sense that they are guardians of whatever lays beneath, and the rest of the world dims around you, and you just hear like the tiniest, quietest whisper of a hiss. Like the vines are talking to each other, talking to you. And it's not words, but you get the impression that whatever they are meant to keep you away. They don't want to hurt you. But they don't want you going inside either.
Everyone, just back up for a moment. If we back up, I think they'll leave us alone. They don't seem They don't seem malicious. I think they're just trying to guard this place.
You hear kind of like only Reviv hears, like this kind of like titter in the back of the hissing. Like maybe an agreement of some kind. And you feel somewhere deep inside of you, Reviv, there are parts of you that are very much like these things, whatever they are. And maybe if you talk to them, they'll understand.
Can you understand what I'm saying? Hello?
Does
I'm saying it towards the vines. I imagine it's a bunch of hissing noises to everyone else.
no one else really hears anything? Just the rustle of leaves. As you ask that question, Reviv, a handful of them, not the ones currently occupied, entwining Kleber in leaves and vines, but others kind of stop. The tips of them as they brush the ground, arching up towards you like they're turning their attention toward you.
We don't want to hurt you or anything. We just want our kids back in the village. Can you help us?
I'm just standing here next to Ruth, just this boy's away in the head, ain't he?
As Kleber keeps hacking, go ahead and roll me your weapon and some dodge, Kleber. As Kleber keeps hacking at the vines, you hear just an angry hiss. As you start to lose the attention of the ones that they...
Oh, look at
Like
the state of
you
you over
have.
there, Kleber.
That is enough
That's
to
my
dodge.
dad.
That is enough to dodge. So you are grappled, but you keep popping just out of line. That is not enough to actually hurt it back.
Down, boy! Down! Down!
It's like they're just blow for blow. Every time Kleber tries to stab the vines move out of the way. Every time the vines try to slap Kleber, he dodges out of the way. It's kind of, kind of mesmerizing. Blow for
It'd be
blow.
funny if it wasn't so painful.
Kleber, please, just back up. They don't want to hurt us. You're
They're
just getting too
holding me
close.
and stabbing me, you... Wait!
You're just getting too close. Back up. Get away from them.
What
Hey, Jim,
kind
maybe
of
we stand with
got a
that.
hold on me do you not catch?
What'd you say, Ashley?
Where do we stand with that fire from my now broken lantern?
I mean, it's kind of smoldering on the ground.
I look back at the vines. Can you please let him go if he just backs up and leaves you alone?
I'm trying to grab Cleaver, but every time, like, the knife swipe and then the vine swipe, and so it's like, oh, it's hilarious.
Glenn's just watching this.
Hey, Ruth, roll to dodge Kleber.
Oh boy. Okay.
Gonna be my 7.
Without the dice have been.
Oh,
Oh, heck yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna say that's such a good roll that you managed to, like, duck one particularly wide swipe, and you use that opportunity to just hook an arm around Kleber's, swing an arm, and yank him backwards as well as the vine snaps off, and he is also free.
Are you
Not knowing
happy
it's
now?
there. What? And it's Ruth. Do you think I should be happy in this situation?
Well, you're free of the vines.
I'm on top of a married woman out in the woods. I'm pretty sure normally I get shot for this.
We're both still wearing clothes. You're fine.
Clearly, you and I have different experiences in the woods.
Without a captive, the vines get less violent, less active, but they are moving, swaying, like they're ready for someone to try again.
If you let us through, I could give you some water. Quite a bit, if you'd like.
They shake their leaves at you as though we're perfectly lush. We don't need your water.
Is there anything I could give you to maybe have you let some of us through?
What you got on yourself, Reviv?
I didn't really bring anything with me. I didn't think we'd be in the woods this long. Well, I've got my
Yeah.
crystal ball and Glenn's got my knife.
No, I don't.
Why don't you
You're not.
tie a
You're not
bow
just
on
stuck
it?
in the side of a kudzu.
You got a whole bunch of cloth. Tie a bow on them. Make them look pretty.
Let me see what I gave you. 1 second.
Tie them all together. Make a bouquet.
Do we need some ribbon? I
That's
have
up.
black. Like the actual black ribbon.
After braiding themselves together, kind of intertwining and coming apart as though they're having a conversation, everybody else can see it. Only Reviv can hear it. A single tendril of kudzu winds its way up and starts to wrap itself around Reviv's crystal ball.
You want that? Well, you can have it if you like it.
The second you say that, the rest of them rush out. Like, if they wanted to hurt you, they could have. But instead, they just wrap around this crystal ball, consuming it, just covering it entirely in green and pulling it away. And in this bunch, wrapped around the crystal ball, you see beyond them is a crack in the side of the hill, straight into the earth itself, barely big enough for a full-size human to squeeze past.
Well, as long as you'll let us through, you can keep that. It's all yours.
You get the feeling they will let you pass?
I'm just gonna walk through the small crack.
That phrasing does not fill me with good vibes.
Reviv, it's a tight squeeze. Even for you, you're not a large human. You feel the rough edges of rock and dirt scrape at your skin, but eventually this opening widens just enough for you to be able to fully turn to face the direction you're going. And the rest of you, you see him and then you don't. Whatever space is behind this crack in the side of the large towering hill is large enough for him at least to fit his whole body inside of.
Is there room in there for the rest of us?
Well, can you squeeze in behind me? I think everyone's bigger than Reviv.
Everyone is.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Except maybe Ruth.
She works at Forge. She's the beefiest out of all of us.
And having surrendered your source of light, Reviv.
Yeah.
You're not sure how far this goes in.
I'm going to use Foxfire again, except for it's just light coming out of my hand because I don't have any items anymore.
Okay. You light up the palm of your hand. It's not as bright. Somehow the crystal ball reflected the light that made it shine so much brighter than you alone could have made it shine. But you see at least an abyss. It's a long, narrow corridor with just darkness at the end. But
Wow.
single file, all of you could fit for sure.
Yeah, before I go through, I'll snuff out the smoldering and pick up my broken lantern. Edge magic repair.
Okay.
Well, you could get in here, but you should probably be careful. There's a chasm. If you fall into it, you could get really hurt.
The ground itself beneath you is solid, but ahead of you is just a long, narrow corridor.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. Well, this place seems to keep going and going.
Here, you want to try your light thing on this before I relight the damn thing? That way we can actually aim it a little better.
Well, that could help. Yeah. No cast fairy fire or fox fire on the
Fairy
lantern.
fire. Oh no.
Can you have more than one going at a time? Does it say?
It just snuffs out the last one.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So the light in
thanks
your
for
hand
basically
vanishes and like it's transferred over.
I use the door on it and try to aim it ahead in just like a straight-ish beam.
Okay. Most of what you can see is blocked entirely by Reviv's dark silhouette of a body. There's more darkness beyond him.
We should probably keep going down this cave and find out where the kids are.
Over
They've
his
got to be
head
in there.
to try to shine past him.
You said it's like a
Looking around.
corridor down there?
Yeah, it's like an endless hallway almost. Could I move back and let someone else in front?
No, there's not enough space.
No.
You'd have to come all the way out.
Or could like he duck down and somebody step over him?
No.
I guess, but you'd have to literally walk on him.
You see,
Here.
you
And my hand
have
removed.
problems with this.
Like, he'd have to lie long ways. There's not enough space to lie side to side, so you couldn't step over him, you'd step on him.
My
Well,
hand
how-
removed the now Foxfire lit lantern. Walk.
What do I see
Go.
down there? And I am going to keep walking.
What shape is the corridor? Like
Hello.
rough? Is it cut? Like, does it look like it's been mined?
It stays about the same width and height the whole time, as though it were manufactured in some way, but the surfaces themselves you don't see tool marks on them. It doesn't look like someone came through here with machinery to do it. If it was done by a person, it was done by hand, and it would have taken a very long time.
Well, if a person done it, I imagine that person's long gone by now.
What do you hear?
Are we all going into the cave, or is it just me and Reviv?
I was trying to go in.
Oh, if everyone's quiet for a moment, I'll take a listen.
Okay. Roll perception or hearing.
$15.
Mostly you just hear the sound of your own voice echoing back to you.
Well, nothing so far. What do I see when I shine the light down the corridor? Just more corridor?
How far did you go down it?
He's being
Until
pushed
something
by
else
by
happens.
Okay.
Until there's something else.
Glenn, you're like right behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, Glenn also disappears from the opening of this cavern. Kleber, Ruth, are you following?
Yep.
As best I can.
Okay. Eventually, all of you single file your way, and I'm not going to make you roll. You will probably pick up some minor scrapes and bruises trying to fit through this very small space. But just like Reviv, after a couple of feet, that very tight squeeze opens up just enough for you to full on face the front and single file your way down a corridor, an entrance of some kind. From the back, Kleber, Ruth, you can't see anything but the person in front of you. Glenn, you can see a little bit over the top of Reviv's head. Eventually, after probably 30 feet, 40 feet deep, this narrow space suddenly opens up into a large, very high, very wide, almost perfectly circular cavern. And that,
Shining the light around, do I see anyone or anything else that might be alive?
you see no other people, no other creatures. Suddenly it seems like every noise you make is magnified by 1,000. So anyone you were trying to sneak up on would have known you were coming.
I look down onto the floor in case there's like mud or anything. Do we see the footprints still?
There's not mud on the ground. There is chipped away rock. There are some little sections of somehow brownish, possibly dried or dying grass has managed to sprout up through the rock that makes up the ground. And there seems to only be two ways out of this main chamber. There's like a little opening to the left and an opening to the right. Maybe
Which
you
one
see a
did we come in?
footprint here and there, Kleber. But the way the surface of the floor is, you're not really sure if it's human or animal or how new or how old it might be.
Okay, we don't see any like crash or like animal remains or anything like that.
Roll me perception. You don't see any trash. But you do see kind of toward the edges of this vault area little bits and pieces of things that seem like they don't belong. There's something white off to one side, there's something gold off to another.
Can y'all bring the lamp over here?
Of course.
I-
Here, do you need it?
Yeah, can you shine it down here? And I look down at the white thing.
A single pearl. A hole drilled down the
As
middle
it,
as though it were strung at some point.
you do not belong here. I hold it in my hand and look over to look at the gold thing.
It is the edge of like a gold plated teacup. Way nicer than anything you've seen around here before.
Is it like the broken edge?
It's, if you dig a little bit, it is most of the cup.
Fine china teacup, gold around the rim, and a pearl in a cave where nothing like this should have even ever have been in here. Everything we've found or had described to us is some form of finery, some form of jewel or show of wealth. Do we have any idea what this is? Because it seems to me like this has got to be something pretty specific to be.
Well, maybe someone's living over back here.
If you were
Kids and
living
them
back,
have to be somewhere. And kids aren't very quiet. I'm sure if we hushed down for a moment and listened really hard, we might hear where something might be. Could I roll perception to listen?
Mm-hmm. You all can.
All right. Well, I was going to say I was listening for like breathing or children talking to each other.
You don't hear any children talking to each other, any sign of children whatsoever, any sign of animals either, any sign of biological life. You don't really hear. Down the path cut into the rock itself on the right, you vaguely hear the sound of running water somewhere down there. The path on the left, you hear absolutely nothing.
Well, there's. You guys hear the water? Down on the right side?
we should take the left one then. If it can't cross running water, it probably won't be down that way.
That's what I was thinking. Well, I'm gonna move
Unless, of
ahead
course,
with
we
the-
want to, check both at the same time.
We should probably stay together in here.
Um,
Well, if the children are here, they're more likely to be down the left corridor where there's no running water. So we should go check down there first. I think splitting up is very dangerous. Especially
Probably.
since if there is anything here, it can probably hear us right now.
And as you say
Especially
that,
since we had difficulty.
Reviv, you hear the word now echo way more times than any of your other words. As though the mountain itself was making a point.
I think that's our sign to keep going. And I'm going to walk towards the exit on the left.
Ruth, what were you saying?
I was just making a comment of sticking together, especially since we're having difficulty with plants. God forbid Kleber run into a giant mushroom.
Will you stop giving her ideas?
Honestly, this whole time I think we're dealing with a hag. Is that what's in this cave? A hag?
What would you like to
I
do
go
now?
ahead and I follow Reviv.
Okay. Down the left?
Wherever Reviv is going. Yeah.
I think we're all sticking together.
Same.
You sure?
I'm going down the. I'm
Because if
going
you
down
want
the
to
left.
split up, it's fine.
I'm going down the left. It's just lore is intellect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would like to try to roll for any folklore involving shiny objects
Shiny objects? Okay.
and magical creature type combination things.
Okay.
Because as the player, am thinking like goblins and like fairies and shit.
Be a
But-
leprechaun.
Magically
That's-
delicious.
Right, remember, if you see a purple moon anywhere, tell me we have to run.
Crows like shiny things. Maybe it's a big old crow.
a big crow wouldn't fit through that.
Could be pirate booty.
You are pretty far away from the shore, however.
Yeah.
Hey, look, weirder things have happened.
I'm going to roll sensing danger as I'm walking down the corridor on the left.
You really don't need to roll it.
Okay.
Yes.
There is danger there. Again, it's
Yeah.
really
Danger everywhere.
unspecific. You just feel a vague sense of dread that at this point you're not entirely sure isn't just your baseline existence.
Or perhaps that sandwich you had.
It's really old mayonnaise.
Mhm.
I'm the one that ate the damn sandwich, not him.
Yeah, but he made the sandwich. Lord only knows whatever he made for himself first.
He got it on a
Sandwich
fruit
with fresh mayo and fresh
You-
mustard.
You
Oh,
would give
so
the
you
crappy stuff to Shucky?
He didn't want
How
the
dare
mayo
you.
and mustard.
Caregiver
How dare.
are you?
Is anyone taking the right path?
No, ma'am.
Suddenly not so brave, huh, Chef?
Discretion
Yeah,
is the
for
better
shits and
part of
giggles.
valor.
For shits and giggles, I'll go down the right path instead of the left.
I will
That's
warn
just
you,
right.
it'll kind of take you out of next game.
Nope, I'm going down the right path.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys see
Yeah.
Glenn break off, head off on
The
his
hell are
own.
you going?
As
Head
Glenn
off,
disappears,
Wait, what kind of light does Glenn have?
all the light.
Until he casts Foxfire again, and then Glenn's light goes away.
Guess what? That's why
I was-
Glenn has a fucking lantern.
I was the one holding the lantern.
I don't think so.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I have other ways.
All right. Does anyone try to stop Glenn?
Are you sure you know what you're doing? Because, you're still leaving a trail of blood. Just saying, if someone's going to track you, the one person bleeding
Not the one
alone.
person. That I'm not the only one bleeding.
The only one by yourself.
At this point, I'm sure it's probably like started to dry up.
You've clearly never lost part of a digit before, have you?
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
Other than like
mo
the bare side of it, yeah.
Oh,
most major
that's nice.
most major injuries like that don't stop bleeding on their own
Oh
for a
well.
while.
Oh. But it's magic.
How much of a care do you want to give to Glenn, Mitch?
Some sort of light source, so they're not going in there blind.
I had a
Give him a glowing mushroom.
no, Mitch. I had an idea for what I was
Maybe,
gonna do.
maybe I could
No,
find 2 pieces of quartz in my silk pockets that they could rattle together for some cold fire.
Okay. Hey.
I love Mitch's thinking here. I was just gonna have a fire elemental possess a little rock and use that as a light source,
And burn your hand off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
or just summon one to use as a light source.
Here, I've got these 2 stones I've been holding on to. If you smash them together, they're pretty bright.
Okay. Back. We're focusing. Glenn, as you kind of like head down the right-hand path toward the sound of moving water, your foot clinks on something just out of sight of everybody else. And when you lean down to kind of pat at it and see what it is, it's a lantern. That's fine, right?
Yeah. I really do need to update the items that are in this travel pack because it still says flashlight.
That's where
There we
we'll
go.
leave Glenn for now. Reviv, Kleber, Ruth, you head down the left side path. Just like the corridor in, it stays a steady width, a steady height. Guided by the light from, well, technically, Glenn's lantern. Reviv, are you still in front?
Yeah, I think so. I was the first one to go down the right corridor, so I think I'd be in front.
This corridor is at least wide enough that you could go down it 2 by 2 if you wanted to. So more than one person could see where you were going. But Reviv, as you get deeper and deeper, this path arches around a corner, and all of a sudden you see yourself staring right back at you. Lantern held high. Both Ruth and Kleber just a step or two behind you. Kleber, Ruth, you also, for just a second, see yourselves like a mirror image staring back at you.
I'm gonna reach out,
Uh,
like, with my other hand towards the reflection of me or copy of me.
You reach out. It's so well defined that you think for a second that you're absolutely going to feel something solid in front of you, but your hand passes through the image of your own face. And you feel water. Not from the top of your hand, but coming up from the bottom.
Oh, that's weird. Do you guys see the water
As you step
coming up
closer,
from
it is a
below?
solid sheet of water against clearly what is a pitch black background. behind it, not dripping down from the top like a waterfall would, but ascending from the ground, a small stream of water that has created a perfect mirror.
Well, Foxfire is not put out by water, so I can just go right through there with the lantern. See, hopefully.
Is that water flowing backwards?
As I'm walking
What
through it, it seems to be.
I was about to ask the same thing. Yes.
Reviv walks through it. Reviv, you feel a little damp. Like just from the mist, just from the brief contact. Your clothes just have a little bit of dampness to them, but the second he passes through, the hole closes up and he is, for all intents and purposes, gone from your sight. Kleber and Ruth.
With the light.
With the light, yeah.
With the light. You can still
Going
kind of
forward.
make out your own figures in the reflection of the water.
I will hurry on through just mainly to stay with the light.
I try to look around in what very little I can see. Does this corridor go anywhere besides this wall of water?
No.
Like, is there like a turning? Okay, so yeah,
This is the end.
or the beginning.
Of the beginning.
We're going to the upside down. Ooh.
The downside up. Oh, God.
No, the upside down. The downside up is trademark. Yes, I'm aware it's the other way around.
Right through.
Right through. I hold my breath as I go through.
You realize as you get out, you didn't need to. But you didn't know that. You didn't know that.
Nope.
I'm gonna swap briefly back to Glenn.
Now that I'm done stuffing my face with
Yeah.
a little bit of food. I haven't eaten all day. That was my breakfast and dinner.
Right. That is not acceptable, and we will not do that again. Do we understand?
No, I don't understand.
Make you understand.
Don't
Do you-
know
We're
how
gonna make
to
Rain
time
bad
Joe.
doing that.
Do you obviously light up the lantern?
Oh yeah.
Okay. You see a very similar pathway forward. Again, 2 people wide. It seems to get a little bit narrower the further down you get. But you keep going. It angles downward and downward until suddenly you're ankle deep in water.
You know, it's a good thing I've got sturdy shoes and water-resistant clothes. 'Cause travel pack.
And do
Very
you keep
smooth.
going?
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, curiosity got the better of me.
I know. As you keep going and going, the water gets deeper and deeper.
I'm gonna go until it gets about here.
Okay. Well, good news is you
That way
don't
I can
have to go
still.
that far. About the time it reaches waist depth, give me a perception.
Alright.
Cave shark.
That's a CX. But it is east because see the unseens, mundane shit.
Mm-hmm.
I agree for run.
The water is dark. The cave is dark. The rock is dark.
It's all
Everything
dark.
is dark. But something in that water all of a sudden seems slightly darker than the rest of the dark.
Cave squid.
You feel a current somewhere down there in your lower body.
It's called.
Cave shark.
Pulls up crossbow.
And as you raise the crossbow in one hand, lantern in the other, you see from right there right in front of your face, accompanied by the quietest of swooshes as the water parts. A dark, angular head the size of a horse. Your lantern glinting off of slick, wet scales, shining slits for eyes, narrowing just to see
That
you a little
immediately
bit
starts
better
backing up and
as its mouth yawns open,
not Nessie,
bright
Kelpie.
and glistening, off-white, with pointed fangs dripping with venom.
Basilisk?
And
Snake or
back to the
Kelpie?
other group.
Snake or Kelpie?
Back to the other group. Kleber, Reviv, Ruth, as you cross through that mirror, the waterfall, the water rise. It's dark again, a similar corridor, but at the end, maybe 10 feet ahead of you, is another small squeeze of an opening. But beyond that, sort of a blue cast to the darkness.
Does it look brighter in there?
A little bit. I'm gonna keep going.
Okay. Jen, am I seeing any footprints in the left-hand corridor? Or like signs of passage, like streaks on the walls, or like where hands have touched it or anything?
Every now and then there's enough dirt kind of piled up on the ground that you think maybe that's a heel, maybe that's a toe print, maybe.
Okay. But there is some sign of human activity down here.
There are marks on the ground that one could interpret that way. You can't tell which way they're going.
Nope. Can't say that. Keep going.
Keep going.
Mhm.
Reviv, keep going.
Yeah.
Ruth, keep going.
Yep.
Okay. Both of you return to single file, squeezing one by one back out of this. It's not really labyrinth. It's just a hallway of cave. And as you step out of it, instead of the forest you entered it in, you're still underground somehow. But as though there were a moon in the sky, the landscape in front of you is bathed in a pale blue light that washes out everything you see, and yet it's just enough to illuminate it to get you a little farther than you would have in the dark. There's no grass, though, no trees. The landscape instead is rocks and dirt and stalactites and stalagmites sprawled up and reaching out as though they were mockeries of the trees in a winter time.
You ever seen a place like this, Kleber?
Can't say I have.
Kind of pretty looking around.
Mm-hmm. Be an awful lot prettier if I didn't have multiple children from the town in here that we can't find.
How about we find them?
Working on it.
As you look down, Kleber, Review, Ruth even, you do see every now and then a footprint heading deeper into this strange land. And as you follow them, out of the forest of rock and mineral, you come to the edge of what maybe would have been a forest. And you're hit by the sense of something very, very familiar. As appearing from between the crags and icicles of rock is a modest steeple of a church much like the one back home.
Who do you think built that?
That's where we're gonna cut this off. For the night. My
Excuse me, let me get a better grip on this cliff we're hanging off of.
Yeah, I told you it was gonna be a cliffhanger. That's why we didn't do it last week. Because we don't want you to be, like, stuck outside, Cleaver.
You?
Yeah. Yeah. Good job, everybody. Except for Glenn. I warned you,
Yeah, Glenn, what's wrong with you?
I warned you, Glenn.
Troublemaker.
You
Get
just
beat
couldn't
by the
resist.
monster.
So,
Couldn't resist.
I'm not gonna lie, part of the reason why I chose to go path was because I remembered I have stuff to do the next on the 16th,
Mm-hmm.
18th. So I won't even be here for a game next time because I'm going on a little trip.
Okay.
So what?
when you said it would take me out of next game, I was like, no, I at least know what happened to my character now. I'm gonna try to
Yeah,
bullshit that one out.
It's going to take you about 2 weeks worth of in-game time to get shot out of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, props o'clock. Let's do this thing. Ashley, say nice things.
Nice things.
Yes.
If I must.
You only have to say it about one person, I promise.
I gotta say it about Chef. I gotta give my props to Chef. Not Kleber, but Chef, the player, just for in the chat in game, just Nessie. When
You have your
describing,
folklore, I have mine.
Perfect. You're wrong. Anyway, Mitch.
That's another tough choice.
that's why I said kill.
Man, everyone did so good this game, so it's hard to choose. I think I'm gonna go with. Well, Glenn and Kleber both did it, but Kleber already got a prop, so I'm gonna give it to Glenn for the keeping on swinging when someone pulls you off of something and hitting someone else.
Super visual. Loved it. Yeah. Chef. Stop yawning and give props.
I'm sorry,
Yawn more.
I teach all day today. I gotta give it to Lou or Ruth just for being like the momly patience that I kept feeling God damn it, fine. I'll get us out of this. I'll save your ass. Just the unspoken mom energy of
She has the quiet backbone.
Yeah.
yeah. And that just in the way she was using that to save everybody's ass just made me so happy.
Perfect. And Lou, your turn.
Well, I mean, she started out with one 11-year-old son, and now apparently she has 3 more 11-year-old sons. Yeah, but I'm gonna give it to both Ashley and Jen, just because of Jen because of the rhyming for the elemental, and I just love that whole interaction between the two of you. It was really nicely done.
I tried to keep it serious. Originally, I was gonna use the wind god Aeolus. I was like, no, because I'm just trying to summon an elemental, not a fucking god.
Nice.
You did
But
better than me.
I've got a couple of weeks to try to puzzle piece some stuff together. You're tangling with a giant cottonmouth, by the way, Glenn. Just need you to know that.
You said Angular had like a horse. That's why I was
The
like,
size of a
Kelpie?
horse.
Size of a
Oh, the
horse.
size of a horse. Oh.
No, good job. A path less traveled.
Glenn.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. This has been Old Gods of Appalachia, Candlebook and Bell. A little bit of a
Somehow we changed
cliffhanger.
that
We'll be
movie.
back, not next week, but the week after next, without Glenn. Well, that's okay. Everybody has lives and they can do what they want.
But Jen, why are we not playing next week? Oh, that's right.
Because everybody has lives and we do what we want.
Because you and Mateo are finally going on your honeymoon.
You're going on our honeymoon. So, we're going to miss like a week of games, but that's okay because we'll come back with all the ideas of how to torture you all in this and future campaigns. Yes! Speaking of future campaigns, we have a Discord. Join us in the Discord. You can have a say in those future campaigns. For instance, we've got voting kicking up very, very soon for
I think it actually just posted.
3 games.
It might have been.
First up will be DM Daddy's Werewolf v. Werewolf. Everybody has very serious opinions about werewolves, so be sure to
Oh, yeah.
stop by and clock your vote in. Patreons, as always, get weighted votes. So you'll have to somehow defeat Pierce and Phil if they decide to team up on the same vote.
Good luck.
If voting's not your thing, you can also sign up for games there or just hang out and chat about crafts, about wrestling, about life, about love.
If you want to play, that's also where you can sign up.
Yeah. We love new people. Right, Mitch? You're not new anymore. Haha. Haha.
It's been a year.
Yay!
Woo!
If you've missed the previous 2 episodes of this campaign or anything else, or you just need some background noise and sassiness to do chores to at home, that's what I use YouTube for. YouTube! That's where we keep all our stuff. If you've made it this far and haven't subscribed and or liked and or commented, it would be super cool to please the internet gods that way. And finally, I mentioned it before, Patreon. We didn't have a whole lot of meddling this episode, but we did have some Patreon meddling this episode, and you too
Some
could
meddling.
Patreon meddle
It's gonna get yelled at later.
if you had some spare cash to throw at us. If not, that's super cool. We're happy to see you either way.
You can also get reserved spaces in games on Patreon.
I have been your...
And merch when Jen and Matt make merch.
I'm going to be making merch my whole vacation.
No.
Of
It's fine.
everything to do on a honeymoon.
It's fine. You'll see it. It'll be worth it.
The vibe.
It'll be great.
It's not the vibe.
It'll be great. It'll be worth it. As always, I've been your DM Duchess, Jen of Thieves, and I've been joined by Ashley, the everything, as Glenn, Mitch, as Reviv, Chef, as Cleaver, and the Lushok, as Ruth. We'll see you in 2 weeks when you can learn the fate of our harrowing heroes. Until then, have a good night.